Now moving to item 27, the Chief Executive's report. So Carleen, I'd invite you to make some introductory comments.
Thank you. I just want to highlight a few things. We've heard already, of course, and everybody knows that Turanga will be opening tomorrow. Very exciting event. Everybody's excited, staff, stakeholders, community. And what I would like to do is just acknowledge the staff that have been working on this to get to this point. Often they're forgotten once it's opened. But people such as John Rossiter, the project director, Sally Thompson, Matt Cummins and Michael Down are the people that have led actually the build and the partnership with Southbase in terms of getting the building built. And you'll see it's a magnificent facility. And then there's the people within the library, Carolyn Robertson, Erica Rankin, Chris Hay, Pat Street, who actually driving the, so what is going to be developed for the community, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, and those partnerships with the community as well. And there are many others, but I think it's just really important to know that this has been a substantial piece of work. It's one of the significant anchor projects that Council has led, and I think led very successfully around that. So I want to thank them for that. Some other work that's been going on, there's been a lot of things happening. So we reached that major milestone in my council so that we changed the way that we interact with our citizens, giving them another opportunity to use particularly digital ways and things like managing a service request. My husband used it the other day and he immediately got back a response and closed the loop. So he thought it went really well. No, he went down a walking track that had been closed, and it was closed at both. It was open at both ends, but closed in the middle. So he wanted to know about that. Again, it's a way of making issues more accessible, contact with the council more positive and easy for people. But it's an ongoing project. Of course, you also endorse the Central City Action Plan, a really inclusive interagency approach to making the city's central city easier to live, work and play. And it's an ongoing project, obviously, to draw people into the central city, particularly those that haven't been here. And the issues that you're talking about in terms of public transport and those sort of things are actually really important considerations in that. And then finally around the carbon savings recognised by UGO. So with a fleet of electric vehicles just under 12 months and contributing 50 tonnes of carbon saving in Christchurch, it aligns really well with with your strategic priorities. And so UGO, to recognise that, will be planting 1,000 native trees in the Canterbury region. And along with that, of course, we received a commended in the public sector award category for our resource efficiency and greenhouse gas emission program. So there are just a number of commitments around reducing our carbon footprint that you know you've identified as a priority, and we'll continue to do that in thinking about that in everything that we do.
Great, thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Carleen on the report? Anne.
Thanks, Carleen. I just wondered if cycle safety is, the whole program is running at capacity, and just wondering if going forward there are any opportunities, do you think, in terms of how we could increase the resource for that, because it is a significant area for all of us in our community boards in terms of getting kids to safety. And it may not be an appropriate question, but just wondering if you had any reflection on that.
Well, I think that's something that you should discuss in the annual plan, really, if that's a priority and where you want to allocate resources. Also, whether there's any opportunities to do things differently that makes it, I guess, more productive in the way that we deliver those services.
Pauline.
Thank you, Carleen. I'd like to thank you for the quite large paragraph you've donated or given to the McFarlane Park Centre opening. When it finally opened, it was wonderful. And also to the heads up to the Lions International for the support that they've given Christchurch post-earthquake. I think it's really important that we continue to recognise that. But my question is around the Travis Wetland Millions tree. And the fact that Trees for Canterbury is donating 45,000 plants and trees annually, and the fact that the City Council itself, we plant a lot of trees. Often we have to take trees out, say if we're putting in doing a street renewal or a cycleway, but we have a policy that we will plant at least that number that we've taken out, if not more. Are we actually keeping a really accurate record on how many trees that we are planting everywhere? Because that will feed into the whole government program on the 1 billion trees, and possibly yes.
Yes, so we know how many trees we plant and how many we take out, so that's not the issue. It is about all these additional programs that we would need to make sure that we continue to monitor those as well.
Yeah, so internally we do have a good record of how many we are planting.
Well, we will do if we don't already.
Fantastic, thank you.
Vicky.
Are we aware that there's actually funding for those trees available from the government? I'll give you the details later.
Right, thank you. That's great news. Thank you.
Yanni.
Yeah, I just wondered if the Chief Executive just wanted to give us an update on what's happening in regards to the coastal hazard issue.
We've done some work in terms of asking for advice on what a proposed policy might be and rule. There's a stakeholder meeting tonight to share that with the key stakeholders, particularly residents or representatives of residents. There'll be a paper coming to on Monday, that's right, you've got a special meeting on Monday to talk through that. And then we've asked the stakeholders under the Section 71 to rapidly turn around their comments so that then we can get that to the Minister and back to here. And so they've agreed to do that.
So have we heard back from all the stakeholders yet?
No, because once you agree it on Monday, it goes out to the stakeholders.
Right, okay.
Could I just ask for
Vicky,
the
yeah.
next one, just very quietly, could you possibly include an update on the Botanic Gardens lighting to save me nagging staff?
We can do that. You can still nag staff. Well, you still will, I know.
Thank you.
Jimmy.
Thank you, Chair. I ask CEO, I remember probably before you did have those statistical record regarding the monthly basis, when you present to us regarding how many the CSR number, and also how many categorize what kind of issue, etc. But I didn't see recent several months. I didn't see. Sorry.
I just missed what I used to put something in the report that's not in there.
Yeah.
What was that again?
CSR number from the ratepayer, from the residents regarding their one. Monthly,
calls.
How many? Yeah.
The calls. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Where about?
Yeah, that's right. So in my head, there's been an increase in the online questions and calls. Questions. Slight decrease in the number of calls, but that's in my head. So we can get those numbers for you.
Yeah, because why I point out this one very important. This one,
is.
Is the resident might have, whether have any the issue or concern, whether we have, dealing with and process and feedback to them. That's kind of confidence.
Yes.
For the council, that's very important.
Yes.
I prefer that we can continue CEO report to us.
Yes. Agreed.
Thank you.
Yep, great, thanks. I'll go to Mike and then I'll come back to you, Yanni. Mike.
Thanks. Just a comment around the Yugo Share tree planting. It has been done, so they planted 1,000 native trees up in Evans Pass Valley, and not only have they obviously already hit 50 tonnes, they're set to hit 100 tonnes of savings before Christmas.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanni.
It's as much a comment as a question, but I don't need an answer now. But I think it'd be really interesting to get, when we get those statistics back, is around the number of people that have registered to the My Council. I think it's a great initiative. It's really great to see that get off the ground. It'd be really good just to track the uptake of it,
Yep.
and just to see how it's working.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vicky.
I just received an email from ECAN saying that they have received a application for the Cloud Ocean thing, which was.
Is this in the report?
No, it's the bit that's not in the report because it wasn't relevant. Could I just make sure,
Okay.
well, wasn't received till yesterday. Could I just make sure that the submission that the council makes as an interested party is circulated in a very timely manner so that we all have the chance to...
All right, so outside of the report, but we'll pick that up. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
I'll forward you this email.
Are there any further questions for the Chief Executive? Okay, I'd just like to make a comment before we... in fact, I'll move the report, but I'll make a... can I get a second for that as well, Pauline? And then I'll make a comment. I stepped into Tauranga for the first time 2 days ago. And we spend a lot of time looking at, you know, plans and projects and architects' drawings and, you know, mock-ups and photos of what this thing might look like when it's built and so on. I've been impressed with the outside of Tauranga as it's been built and just the way that that facade changes in the different lights and particularly the evening light, and it totally picks up exactly as it was intended to. The colour of the Port Hills in summer, that Harakiki effect of the outside cladding and so on, it's really worked. But when I walked inside there for the first time, I was absolutely blown away. You know, that full atrium, the light, the effect of the light as you move around the building, the open space. This actually is an international example of what library means as we look into the future. And I'd just like, Carleen, to congratulate you and the libraries team and the project management, everybody that's been involved with this project, on delivery of what is actually council's anchor project. This is the council-led anchor project, and I think we've done a fantastic job, and the public will have the opportunity tomorrow afternoon and over the weekend to go inside and have a look, and I absolutely recommend that people do that and do it soon, and I hope they'll be part of a big crowd of people doing so. I think people won't fail to be impressed by what's an absolutely amazing addition to our central city.
And that they come by bus.
Even better. Even better. Dion.
I've got a couple of comments, and I'd just like to say, yeah, again, thank you, but also I'd like to say thank you to the councillors who were around the table before this council who actually made the decision on that, because I hear there was a bit of to-ing and fro-ing around the design, so you know, some good vision was put there. And just wanted to say a couple of things around the report that's here. The Central City Action Plan, really pleased that that's going forward, which is really cool. There's been quite a bit of to-ing and fro-ing, but from the residents who I've spoken to that are going to be involved, they're very excited to actually be part of around the table, you know, actually part of the decision-making process for their city that they're really involved in, and especially seeing as there's a lot of focus on the Central City, we need to make sure that they... Yes, so they're very excited. I mean, that's the Central City Action Plan for them. Yeah, my bad. I also wanted to say and congratulate and say thanks to Carleen for her leadership around the Water.nz membership. That decision, nothing more needs to be said about that, but thank you for taking the leadership around that as well. And another point that's in the report, and I didn't really there's no questions I wanted to ask about it, but it was around the inner city street solutions. So there's a lot of work that's been done, and it's a good update here around the central city. But I just wanted to sort of let people know that it's actually having an impact on some of the suburbs around the central city now. So there's been a lot of focus on the central city, but the suburbs around the central city is having some issues because that's where they're moving out rather than actually dealing with the issue head on. So I think we need to sort of think about how we address that as well. And the other thing is just in maybe in these reports, if we can have some financial indicators for how we're doing as well, might be good to get an update around those.
Yes, so they go to finance and performance.
Yes, I know, but it might be good to link that into this report somehow.
We used to have them in this report, and I think there was a decision that actually they go to one place.
I mean, you do have links to other things on there, so maybe just an update and linking it to the reports.
Yeah, well, we'll review that.
All right, that's great. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against? That's carried.